Oh no, not going back no more. Cut ties with all the lies that you've been living in. All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. Throw this on some of that. How y'all doing this morning? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Just going to do a quick collective energy reading. Just a little 3D, 4D, 5D. Just some fun on Monday. I think I might do, I'm not going to promise, but I'm going to try and do just an energy for everybody, all signs on the other channel. Trying to put some more up there. Actually, you know what? It's new moon, ain't it? Is it the new moon yet, or is it tomorrow? Ooh, 5%. It's tomorrow. New moon in Aquarius. Full moon in Leo? Oh, it's February. Wrong month. Ah, new moon is the 2nd. Pisces. Duh. It's Pisces. Full moon in Virgo next month. Alright, so we got a new moon in Pisces coming up. We're at 5% illumination in Aquarius today. Wonderful. Come on. This one's bundled really tight. Alrighty, so let's get some messages and just see what's going on. Messages. What is the main energies going on in the collective today for the 3D, 4D, 5D? That's a lot. That's a bit excessive. Alright. Don't mind me. I had to do something with my hair because I put some treatments in it because I tweaked my neck. I don't know if you guys ever... I had a lot of nerve pain in my arm, so I was soaking in the tub a lot, really hot tub, and that kind of fries out your hair when you sit in super hot water. So, yeah, like y'all needed to know that, but, you know. I would say, you know, nerve pain is some of the oddest things because it really does tell you the power of your mind and how suggestive it can be, right? Because it's an injury in my neck, right? But it's pinching a nerve. Now, it's pinched other nerves before. Like, these two fingers are practically numb. When I broke this one, I didn't even feel it, right? Because that nerve had been pinched a long time ago. And your brain accepts the pain for a certain amount of time. And then once that pain has been played out for too long, the nerve itself becomes deadened to it, right? So it just numbs it out. It's like, screw it. We just won't feel those fingers anymore because trying to feel them hurts. I don't know why this message is coming out strong for you. Right now, it's my thumbs going numb, right? So it's like the pain is starting to dull down. It's starting to get better, right? It's starting to ease up, you know. And I'd also like to say that there was a big message in it, too, that I'll share with y'all. At one point, I usually don't go to the hospital for these things anymore. I've been dealing with this since I was like 18. I hate going to doctors. I hate going to hospitals because if I go in there saying that my neck and my back are bad, they look at me like I'm a drug addict because I'm too young to be having these problems and I have to go through all these tests. And it's not till I get the test results back that they come in and they apologize to me every time. Every time. Every time. every time. They treat me like dog shit when I go in until they see the imaging results, and then they come in, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, and here's some stuff to help. This time, it was bad enough that they decided to give me the cortisol steroid shot in my arm. And of course, my body does not like anything artificial in it. So it crystallized it, and it was so bad, right? A huge blockage, right? And it took a while to break that blockage free. And it's just been a topic of lately, just with people in general, a lot of mental blocks, things like that. And it's just weird, like I said, because I know there was no injury, there was no reason for the pain, there was no reason for it technically to really hurt that much, but it was excruciating. All right, let's see what we got. The problem is not the problem is your attitude about the problem, right? I got tie a knot in the rope, trying to hold, but there's nothing to grab, so I let go. Sometimes holding on to the problem causes the pain to last longer. Do or do not, there is no try. Don't mistake my kindness for weakness. I am kind to everyone, but when someone is unkind to me, weakness will not be the thing that they remember. No one saves us but ourselves. We ourselves must walk the path. I just woke up today, time gone by, but you still look the same. It felt so real to have you back with me. Just too bad it was just another dream. There's definitely a big message of, are you moving on from it, right? Are you moving on from it? Are you healing from it? Are you acknowledging that what it is what it is, and that's what it's going to be, and then accepting it so that you can break 3 of those blockages and move on? Are you genuinely letting go? Are you holding on? I like that image of the rope tied around a hand, and it's like crushing the hand. It's like sometimes you do more damage holding on to it. And trust me, I understand. Pain, even if it's not real, even if it's not an actual broken bone, emotional pain is like nerve pain. It's hard not to see it. It's hard not to feel it. It's hard not to focus on it. But there's an acceptance that you have to come to within your mind in order to break free of those blockages, right? Accepting that that is the way it is, right? And do or do not, there is no try. Stop trying to move on. Move on. Stop trying to move on. Move on. Stop trying to let go. Let go. And the problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem, and that's it. For a long time, my attitude towards my back and my neck and everything, and all the pain that I was in, everything else, was I was just going to be in pain forever. I drank too much and all that other stuff, right? At first, it was, well, back in my 20s, I was able to, the pain management stuff wasn't that bad. You can get muscle relaxers and low dose pain pills, you know, for injuries like that. And I was able to work, you know, regular jobs through my whole 20s with that. Cut me off in my 30s. Cut me off in my 30s. And I'm telling you, I leaned on alcohol a lot. You know, and it takes a while to get past, I'm not just going to live in pain and accept that there is nothing I can do about this. And then at some point, that it switches, right? Something inspires you to be different. Something inspires you to try something different, right? For me, it was yoga and meditation. It was yoga and meditation. It was, I had gone to the doctor and I had been denied. Gratefully, now that I know what happened with my arm this week, I was denied cortisol steroid shots for my lower back by my insurance company. And at the time, I was very hurt by this because they told me that it would break the cycle of pain that I was in, right? So instead, I decided to lean more into meditation and yoga and become more mindful of my body so that I would no longer do things to injure myself, right? No longer do things to continue injuring myself. I would learn to listen to my body more. I would do yoga and strengthen my muscles and tone my muscles around the injuries in order to keep them from getting injured so much, right? Totally different approach to it. right? I had to completely change my mindset about how I felt about chronic pain. And that was hard for me because it was really a core part of my programming from family and stuff like that was sit around and complain, accept the pain, be, there's nothing you can do about it, you know what I'm saying? And that was really big, really big. Being helpless to it. I love my family to death. My grandmother's a huge inspiration for me with that, though, too, because she's had scoliosis. She's got rods in her back. Like, genetically, if my parents had actually done, like, DNA tests and the genetics and everything else that they were going to be passing on, they probably shouldn't have bred. But, because my dad's family's got bad back issues, too. But there's a mindset to it. My dad still works with his bad back and everything else. I'm doing the same thing. My grandmother's in her 80s, still fully functional, takes care of herself, and she just works, she worked through all that. But then I've got members of my family that never did anything, and they lean on some excuse. They lean on either an injury that they had at some point. Oh, I'm never going to be able to do anything because this happened to me, or I'm never going to be able to do that because I have ADD, or I'm never going to be able to. And it's like, if you have a problem, you've got two choices at that point, right? You got two choices at that point. You've got the choice to sit there and lean on your excuses. Lean on the excuses. I can't do this. I can't do that, right? Or you find the solutions to them. Excuses are solutions, and you're going to find whatever it is you are searching for. Like right now, it's going to be very difficult for me to do any 30-day yoga challenges and stuff like that. I have to do just floor things because this arm is too weak to hold me right now. Just is what it is. Tis what it tis. It won't be anything else. Wow. See, yeah, there is so much going on here. Dude, the 3D, see, this is it. Stars, you guys are really coming into a power right now. And I know with the craziness of the world, just be mindful, we're in a co-creation, right? So for all the good the light workers are able to do, you have the opposite playing out too. Those people are just as strong at manifesting it, right? They're just as strong as manifesting it. There's people who are benefiting from the chaos in the world right now, and those are who are manifesting it, right? At the same time, you can't say you came here to be a light warrior and a light worker and da-da-da-da-da and not expect to have to battle that darkness, all right? Put that out there right now. On the 3D, and everybody has their own battles. Mine is physical pain. That's what I'm here to battle for whatever reason, right? Some people battle other things, right? Addictions, things like that. Circumstance. Like that one movie, Stora Birch, and I think it's called Homeless to Harvard, where she was raised by drug addicts. They didn't teach her how to shower or bathe or anything else like that. And then she ended up living on a subway for a while, and she ends up graduating with enough honors and getting a scholarship to go to Harvard and stuff like that. So it's a matter of working within your circumstances, right? And what you came to do. And that's an inspiring story. That's what she came to do. All right, 3D. We have the magician, right? Someone who is, the magician is genuinely trying to cast their intentions, right? They're trying to project their power and kind of their will, right? And you got to be mindful with these energies when you're projecting your own will, right? When you're trying to project what you want to come to you in the world. You got to make sure that you're not doing that in a sense that's going to disrupt anybody else's free will, right? And there's also a very key thing here with the monkey I'm getting in the middle here. It's like, don't let your monkey mind mess up your manifestations, right? Don't let your monkey chaos mind get in the way of what you are trying to manifest, right? You got to keep your focus if you're going to be doing that, right? We got the star card here. I like this one with the mermaid and everything else, right? And I get a strong sense with the Pisces here too, with those two fish, that you're going to be receiving, there's going to be a lot of guidance going on here. Physical 3D signs guiding you here over the next few weeks as the Pisces season comes to an end, right? And this is... I just get a lot of elements in this card. I don't know why, but I get a feeling of Capricorn too, with the way the tail is curled like that and how she's sitting out of the water. It's going to be a lot of following your intuition, right? That's going to be coming into play. A lot of following your intuition and trusting in your manifestations, right? There's a lot of trusting in your manifestations. There's justice coming out in the middle here. It might not feel like it right now, but there is justice coming, right? It does, the universe, energy has to balance out. It has to. That's all it can do, right? It's fluid. It's like liquid, right? When you wave back and forth, but eventually it'll settle back out, right? And I also just get the big message here. You got the heart and the feather. And for those of you who don't know what that means is, it's in a lot of, especially like the pyramids there again, with, I think it's Egypt, right? You have to go and you have to put your heart on the scale. And if your heart is as light as a feather, then you get to go to a better afterlife than the other one, right? That's the balance that's coming out here. And that's what it's telling you, right? Especially when it comes to things like this, right? If you know in your heart of hearts, what you are manifesting is not hurting anybody else, right? You are not affecting anybody else's free will. You are making sure that you're focusing on what you need, right? And you're allowed to want what you want, right? As long as it's not affecting or taking or stealing from somebody else, you're allowed to want and manifest what it is that you want to come to you, right? Follow your intuition. Allow it to guide you, right? Allow yourself to flow with that, right? As long as your heart is light and you know that you have moved from your heart center, justice is coming from you. There is definitely the Chariot here, right? And the Chariot is usually described as like the fate and fortune card are pulling you because you asked them to. You wanted a different life and fate and fortune asked you to. The only thing that's stopping you, your own monkey mind from distracting you from what it is you're trying to create, right? Then you got the universe here, right? The universe is completion of old cycles. Also, with the Chariot and the universe here, there might be traveling that's going on the 3D for people, or that could be what your main manifestation might be. Your main manifestation might be a wanting to travel, especially with everything that's been lockdowns and all that. You know, there's an opening up getting ready to happen here, definitely on the 3D. There's so much energy. There's another pyramid there too. I might have, but I don't remember any time where I've ever pulled out all major arcanas like that. All right. So that's the 3D. That is the 3D. On the 4D here, yep, right above that, a Magician card, right? You got Temperance. Balancing it out, right? Balancing it out, that light, that dark, balancing out your own energies. I love how this is like an earth angel feeling right now, right? You get the sun and the moon, light and dark. That's why I like to work with full moons too, because it's a satellite of the sun reflecting that light onto you, right? So there's a lot of balancing out this energy, focusing on making movement. Right? Once again, Eight of Wands is a travel card, right? So there's definitely movement. If it's not traveling per se, it's definitely movement of something. Something is getting ready to start rolling. There's definitely a ball that has been pushed off the edge, and or it's right about there, like you're up there with the stick right now, like this, like trying to figure out how you're going to get it to just pop off the edge, right? This is Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords is all about power and victory, and I love it in this card because it brings into that spiral dynamics, right? If you don't know what spiral dynamics is, there's a guy, it's called actualize.org, and he has a video on spiral dynamics, right? And what it is, it's about how every time you come around to a new problem, you should be seeing it from a slightly higher perspective. If you come around and you find yourself having the same problem over and over and over again, you're doing this. That's a definition of insanity, right? Spiral up. What is causing it? Like I said, with my pain and stuff like that, what's causing it? What? I'm not being mindful. I'm doing things I'm not supposed to. I'm hurting myself, lifting or whatever, playing with the kids. You know what I'm saying? You got to come around and spiral up. Well, if you keep hurting yourself playing with your kids, well, I made myself stronger so that I can still play with them. Things like that, right? Excuses are solutions, right? Excuses are solutions, right? You're either working on how to work out the problems, or you're just letting them stop you, right? Ace of Swords is all about power and victory, gaining control over that. I also, with this card, and now the Ace of Swords is usually not a fire sign card, but doesn't that look like an Aries horn? Right? I get a strong sense of a lot of stuff breaking free after Pisces season when we get into Aries season, right? When we get into Aries season. Hold on. I did think of hold on, not beliefs, right? It doesn't matter really what you believe, like the religions and things like that, whether you believe in angels or fairies or anything else like that, but whatever it is that lights you up, that makes you feel connected to the universe, hold on to that, right? Because you got the star here again. And now the star card is usually about, like, it's about following your stars. It's about calculating using the stars, right? Right? In other cards, it has, you know, a boat and the sextant and all that other stuff for navigating using stars, right? It's all about navigation. In this card, I feel like it's a big thing of holding on to what brings that light out of you, right? It was a big discussion that I used to have with one of my ex-husbands. He used to be a deacon of a church when he was in his 20s. And he would get on me about country music, right? There'd be certain songs that I would sing, and he would be like, how could you, this is a very Christian-y song, I was like, it's about faith, right? It's about faith. And I understand that. I mean, I never found that inside of a building, but I find that out in nature. Right? I find that out in nature. I find that sitting on a beach. I find that in the sunrise. And I find that looking at the stars, right? I don't know. It just is what it is, right? That's my belief. That's my feeling. That's, right? And if you feel like, you know, you're connected to the Pleiadians or the Arcturians or whatever it is that connects you, hold on to that connection because it lights you up. Right? It's not about right or wrong or anything else like that. It's about what's inspiring you. What inspires you, right? And even if you get into the original reading of the star card when you get into the calculating and stuff like that, why were they doing that? Why were they trying to calculate? What? Because they wanted to travel the world, right? They wanted to go farther than anybody had ever been before. Right? There was an inspiration, there was a reason for it, right? It was something that was lighting them up to come up with those calculations, right? Manifest mode. Right? Manifest mode. Look at him. He's so chill. He's so chill. He's not riding on his horse. His shield is on his back. Right? So nothing can stab him in the back. But at the same time, look at how he's just, the money's attracted to him. The pentacles are attracted to him. What he wants just naturally follows him. Right? Right. And I will say, I like the way that they put the shield on the back because the knights, and I like the way AEL talks about that the knights are guarded, right? Because they wear armor, right? They're there to defend. It was called a Knight of Swords, Captain Save-A-Ho. But the Knight of Pentacles, he's a manifester. He manifests and draws that energy into him. What he needs comes to him, right? Abundance comes to him, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be pentacles or money and things like that. I say this all the time, right? Abundance could be anything, right? For me, it's usually food. I can manifest the hell out of some food, right? Things like that. I can manifest stuff real easy, right? Whatever I need just seems to just come in somehow. That's manifesting mode, right? It doesn't necessarily need to be your bank account. Though sometimes it is nice for it to be your bank account, right? I get a strong sense too, if you're in like the witch community, the witchy community, the pagan community, the spiritual community, that instead of focusing so much on making money, you might want to work on like bartering, things like that, to expand, to attract in different things for you. Because I like how all those pentacles are all different little things coming in, being attracted to them. Right? Green for health, red for passion and love, purple for intuition, blue for spirituality, orange to make it go quicker, right? On the top here, what do we got? On the 5D, we've got an Emperor here, right? Aries card again. I always say with the Emperor is not just a king, right? The Emperor rules over other kings. He delegates power, right? He delegates things to other places, right? And he understands that sometimes sometimes you can delegate to this king and tell them they're not supposed to do that, and they're going to do it anyway. If anything in the world has taught us this, that's what it is, right? The Geneva Convention's apparently out the fucking window now, right? Right? He's mindful of that, though. The Emperor's mindful of that. What? He can see that coming. What? He can see that. What? I know that dude's an asshole, right? I'm going to tell him to do this, and I know he's going to do that instead. But he calculates that. And he prepares for that potentiality, right? So not to get blindsided from it. We've got the Queen of Rods here, definitely. I love the Queen of Rods because she's... exuberant. It's the fire sign feminine card there, right? So Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, right? I always say it's my card because I'm a triple fire sign, right? She's inspiring. She could be chaotic and stuff like that, but she's a very passionate person. So I got these two characters here. I definitely got... two energies here. So you got the Emperor here. And for the Emperor, I'm picking up an 8 of Pentacles here, right? Really focusing on that manifesting energy, right? Focusing on... like educating and things like that, and working on their work. I said educating themselves. I said even in the Emperor, I got this whole asshole thing here. Like, I know this person's going to be a dick. I don't know why I'm picking that up, but I just am. Like, this person knows that something's going to happen in that area. But with this 8 of Pentacles card here, I'm getting a sense of, if you've genuinely been working towards a goal or on something here, you are going to start benefiting from what you have been working on. I don't see whatever this other energy is sabotaging you in any way. I see that you're going to be able to overcome that because you were able to predict and prepare yourself not to be rocked by any of that energy, right? Not letting the bullshit rock you. I've got her. She's super, super passionate. She is defensive though right now because she's recovering, right? I get this recovering energy going on here. Got this recovering energy here. And I get a sense, too, that for both of these characters, because now we talk about how everybody's in the same similar timelines, right? If you think you are in, if we want to get into twin flames and things like that, and da-da-da-da-da, you will notice very similar things happen between you and other people that are playing that game with you, right? These people... she's dealing with it too, right? She's going to be dealing with, I got this message again yesterday of just when you start to accomplish anything, when you start making strides, when you start achieving your goals, when you start doing better, people will hate on you, right? There will always be someone who's just bitter for bitter's sake, right? Because the universe has got to test you and to give you things to overcome, right? If everything was easy, if the game was easy, nobody would want to play it. It would be boring, right? Nobody wants to play boring games. The fact that you could lose is what makes winning exciting, right? There's definitely truths that need to be, right? There's definitely some truths that need to be made. There's a lot of stalemates. I get a lot of, like, and I say that with the ideologies and things like that, right? A lot of people, everybody is trying to filter this stuff out through their own way, and you've got to program your own mind, right? Your own mind and how your mind relates to it. And I get this a lot when you look at, like, I got the three main things that I really like, right? You got the Book of One, Ra, the God Particle book, right? And that's about this group of people who channeled messages through one woman, right? And they've got all these messages, and they're very similar to the messages that Dolores Cannon picks up when she's doing her stuff with people. And they're very similar to Edgar Cayce's stuff that he channeled through himself during his stuff, right? They're all very similar, but they're all explained in a slightly different way. Whereas the Raw God Particles is kind of like a Pleiadian type thing where it's a collective, almost like Borg mind mentality, the hive mind mentality that was projecting through the woman to give them the messages. Dolores Cannon, I believe she put other people to sleep, and it would be the same entity. She was one entity that would come out with that one. And Edgar Cayce channeled all his messages through the Bible, because he was very, very religious. He read the Bible all the time. I think he read it like once a year or something like that, right? So whenever he explained stuff, that was like me explaining stuff with the books that I read, right? He filtered it through those messages, right? There has to be a truce and a stalemate, right? A truce to this stalemate of who's right and who's wrong and allowing things to be, right? All right. I got the Temple of My Body here in Black Flower Fragrance, right? Which is funny. It's... That's a big message I'm coming up here, right? The Temple of My Body. I believe there's a lot of bickering and stuff like that goes on, especially in the spiritual community, on food. Food is a big one. Should you be a vegan? Should you be a vegetarian? Should you not eat meat? Should you not eat carbs? Should you do this? Should you do that? Should you do this? Should you do that? You know, and it's all this obsessive with your body and the fasting. That's a big thing right now, which is so dangerous because there's a lot of mental illness out there, right? And I say this with the most loving and compassionate heart, and I am sorry, but I'm one of the very beginning millennials, right? Like I grew up playing outside, but technology grew with me. But in the 90s, this really messed up thing happened for our generation, right? When we hit puberty, for some freaking reason, our parents all thought we were all going crazy and put us on drugs to mess with your mind, right? They put us on things that mess with our serotonin levels. They put us on things that mess with our dopamine levels. They put us on things that dulled our senses, and things like that, right? To get you to sit down and focus, to get you to stop, because you're being a crazy teenager, and that's normal, right? That's normal. Your body is supposed to go through those hormonal ups and downs and that chaos so it can regulate itself out. Well, in our case, a lot of us, a great many of us, I don't think I know a single person who was in high school, middle school and high school in the 90s that was not put on some sort of prescription drug, from Zoloft to Fexor, Paxil, Prozac, Ritalin, Klonopin, all kinds of crazy shit, right? It messed with our levels, right? So we all suffer from these things still, because you weren't You didn't ever get to learn to do, your brain never got to learn how to do it on its own. So you had to figure out your own ways as you got older. You might still use medications. There's nothing wrong with that if you need that. You might still need counseling. There's nothing wrong with that if you need that. I still speak to a counselor. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But there is, I feel like, when you sit there and you say things like, whatever your diet nonsense is, right? And you're like, oh, it's the temple of my body, and you're low vibe because you can't do what I'm doing it the way I'm doing it type deal. That gives off that black flower fragrance, right? And that's going to kind of push people away from you. Nobody wants to hang out with the person who's just so good to be true, right? What is that? I don't know why I got that asshole from that Brothers movie, right? He's like, I haven't had a carb since the 90s, right? And it gives you off that, it gives off like this, it just gives off a gnarly type of energy. It gives off you think you're better than everybody else because you're able to do these things, right? Because you're able to fast for 7 days. Oh, you just can't control yourself. I was able to not eat for 7 days. And it's like, you were anorexic in high school. Your problem is that you don't eat enough, right? Type deal. And that's what causes that gnarly energy. And I think that's what causes a lot of that. Right? Right? That's the whole freedom of religion, right? You're free to believe whatever you want to believe, but you can't force it onto other people, right? That gives off that energy. But I get a lot of this is being around the health thing right now, for sure. The health thing for now, for sure. Right? There's a lot going on. You got submerged here, the iceberg. No matter who it is you're dealing with right now, right, and whatever they're projecting, you're only seeing 10% of it. You're only seeing 10%. There's 90% under the surface. There is 90% under the surface, right? And whether they reveal that to you or not is going to be entirely up to them. You cannot force your free will onto another person, right? Just accept it, right? Just accept it. Just accept that whatever this person's going through has nothing to do with you. And if this is you, then maybe you should be asking yourself what that 90% is within you that you need to be working on, right? Keep doing your own shadow work, right? And also I get the sense too, if you don't have to explain it. You don't have to explain yourself to nobody, right? You don't have to explain yourself to nobody. If you want to keep your 90% of it secret and you don't want to explain it, then don't explain it. Just don't try to force your stuff onto other people. I want something else. I don't know why, but I did just get this feeling of thinking back onto my arm, right? All an iceberg is frozen water. It's frozen water that broke off of an ice sheet. And as it floats down, it melts. And eventually, it melts. And that 90% and that 10% just becomes part of the ocean again. Just becomes part of the ocean again. Little oracle cards here. All right. Got dream here. I like this. There we go. We got renewal, right? You've been burnt down to the ground and you are being asked to rise back up again out of those flames, right? Back into the phoenix, right? If you have lost everything already, here's a big one. If you feel like you have lost everything already, you are genuinely free. What the fuck are they going to take from you now? Right? Everything got burnt away and you rising back up. What? You're free of whatever that was. Whatever horrible toxic relationship that was, if it's finally over, it's over. You finally escaped that family, it's over. You're free. What are they going to take from you now? What? Yeah. It's a song, right? Freedom means there's nothing left to lose, right? There's nothing left to lose, right? And when you have nothing left to lose and you're on that level of freedom, what do you have left? You have your dreams, right? You have your dreams. What do you do with your dreams? Turn them into visions, right? What do you do with your visions? You take them to the 3D and you focus on them within the 3D and you calm your monkey mind of worrying about what possibly else could go wrong for you now. It's all already gone wrong. It's all already gone wrong. So don't worry about it, right? Focus on what could go right. Focus on what could go right. Focus on where your calculations are, right? Focus on making sure that in your heart of hearts, was it fun? Did you do what you were supposed to do? Were you the person that you genuinely are? Did you do the best that you can? Did you love with all of your heart? Then justice is coming. Fate and fortune is calling to you and focusing on you. And it is time to get ready to start these new cycles in Aries season. This is all working on pulling all of this back down to the 3D. I like this today. Let's see. A couple last things from the deck of many things. Every inch of you is perfect from the bottom to the top, right? Getting back with that black flower fragrance too, right? Temple of my body, right? If you want to learn, love your body, it doesn't matter what your diet is or whatever it is that you're doing, right? You have to love it. You have to figure out a way to love it. Give it something it needs, right? Give it something it needs. Give it something that you know makes your body feel good. Not alcohol and stuff like that, right? Not that stuff, right? But like vegetables, water, just regular water. I get on the kids on this all the time. No ifs, ands, or buts about this. This is not debatable. You're 90%, 75 to 90% made of water. We're pretty much cucumbers with anxiety, right? Drink some water, right? Do something like that, a goal towards yourself to making yourself feel healthier, and you will change that black flower fragrance around, right? And every inch of you is perfect. Where you are right now is perfect. I get the that scene from Troy, right? You'll never be lovelier than you are right now, and we'll never be here again. Stop beating yourself up for where you are right now. You're still perfect as you are, right? And I get this for the mental health thing too. A lot of people are like, you'll never find love if you don't love yourself. You don't have to fix yourself, right? That's where you're losing it. That's where we're losing it, right? Loving yourself doesn't mean fixing yourself. It means loving yourself even for your imperfections, right? Loving yourself even though you're a little crazy, right? I mean, seriously, if you're talking to angels and Pleiadians and everything else like that, you're labeled as schizophrenic anyway. Love yourself for it anyway. What? I love my fucking crazy. Every inch of me is perfect, right? Every inch of me is perfect whether I'm 220 pounds or whether I'm 175 pounds, right? Happiness can be found in even the darkest of times if even one remembers to turn on the light. And I love this. I had a thing from Susan's spring at the Zen Den in Port Royal, which is coming up here again soon. Her spring thing, and she was talking about fighting the darkness. And she goes, and you can stand in a dark room and you can flail around as much as you want and swing and kick and just go until you're just exhausted and sweating. And she goes, and it will make no difference to the darkness. The only thing that will stop the darkness is walking over to the wall and turning on the lights, right? But you have to be the one willing to flip the switch, right? You have everything it takes, more than everything it takes, and you're really stupid for not knowing that. Speaking of 90s kids, that's from Empire Records. If you wanted to look up that movie, that's a great cult classic there. I think it's much more intense than like Clueless and stuff like that. It's more about realistic kids. Definitely, it was very similar to my working childhood. I was a working class kid, right? So I worked, and it's about teenagers working and overcoming things, body image, sex, drugs, things like that. You know, one girl in the movie was suicidal. So there's a lot in that movie that really, if you want to tap back into your teen angsty times and see what you might be carrying from that into now, right? Because I know we all do. Like, you know, I worked 3 jobs and went to school in high school. So, you know, you get that feeling of it, you know, how that can overstress you and how you can feel like as an adult, I don't feel like I'm doing enough now because I don't want to injure myself trying to overexert myself, right? I can't work 3 jobs again. I could, but I probably only last about a week or 2. Anyway, you have everything it takes, more than what it takes, and you're really stupid for not knowing that. Believe in yourself, y'all. All right. All right, well, I think that's a long enough 45 minutes there. I think that was a beautiful message this morning. I hope you guys all have a beautiful day. It is so gorgeous out. Nah, we're good. Blessed be all those who walk these weird and winding paths with me. I love you guys. I'm going to be back as soon as I can, I promise.